Hi, I'm here with Craig Le Clair from Forrester Research at Adobe Summit in Las Vegas. Craig, it's nice to see you.
It's great to see you. It's always good to be in Las Vegas and at an Adobe conference.
So let's tell our audience a little bit about what you do at Forrester. What's the area that you cover, and a day in the life, if you would.
A day in the life. Well, you know what an analyst does. We talk to a lot of people, and that's what I do a lot of. And it's really today all around automation. Automation of document processes, automation of using machine learning to try to build that next decision management platform in some functional area. A lot around robotic process automation, a lot around electronic signature, a lot around customer communications management. So basically everything that I've covered for my 11, 12 years at Forrester is all getting a layer of automation, a layer of more intelligence wrapped around it to do even greater things than it's done in the past.
So I know you're here, you're going to talk about RPA, which is robotic process automation, right?
Very good.
Okay, I think I had it.
You got that.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the talk is going to entail and the flavor that you want to bring to this audience here?
Yeah, well, robotic process automation is one of the most growing and valuable enterprise software markets right now. And it's allowing companies to really use software bots to replicate activity that humans are doing, generally around a keyboard or around websites. This is generally low value work. It's not adding oftentimes to customer experience. It's expensive to do it that way with humans, and the humans can be allowed in that way to really move more to the front office, to be able to interact more with customers and so forth. So it's really taken off in areas like finance and accounting, in areas like human resources, and a lot of line of business processes. So what we're focusing on in this session is what is the uplift that RPA provides to document cloud technologies? You know, how does it work and add value to generating documents in a contact center environment? How does it add to the capture process? How does it add to maybe preparing a set of documents for electronic signature by extracting information from core systems, which is one of its talents. Basically, with RPA platforms, you can get to core system and legacy data without doing invasive data integration. So it gives you a very simple way to go into core systems and fill out forms. Those forms might be put on a client portal by the bot. They may be put to an e-signature platform to be executed as a transaction. So there are lots of really good touch points with RPA and document cloud technologies, and that's really what the session is going to be about.
Great. I was wondering if you could give me maybe an example workflow. I mean, I know we were talking a little bit higher there, but like just the one that's maybe in use today, or one that you've experienced or talked with a customer end to end that's in one of the areas that's.
Yeah, around take customer onboarding.
Okay.
It's a very common use case.
Right.
And there's a lot of data entry that is required, particularly for setting up a brokerage account or a financial account.
Okay.
So before someone can actually be a customer, sometimes there are 5,000 fields that have to be entered into.
Wow.
They might be across 30 different legacy systems. So why have humans do that? Why not build bots that can, that can do that?
So that's a great use case, because there's so much of it that can be automated, but there's that last mile where you maybe need to sign, like the person needs to do that, but somebody else doesn't need to do all that back end work to get you to that last part of the journey.
Correct. That's really the talent of using bots to do these sort of simple processes that humans have been forced to do.
Right.
And it makes their job better. It gives them more time to actually think about what a customer might be doing and what their sentiment is. What are they thinking about? Maybe have a little longer conversation. It's always surprised me that in contact centers, the thing that's most measured is average call time, to keep that as low as possible. It's thought of as a cost center. But if we can use bots, maybe to answer some of those annoying security questions as someone gets on the phone, if we can use bots to do those address updates that are required when someone makes a change, then you turn that agent into someone who can be more conversant with the customer and lead to better things.
And bring higher value to the customer experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to the first phase of the RPA market, to be direct, is more focused on taking hours out and redeploying them. And many of the hours are going to be redeployed to the front office and to customers. I think the next phase is going to be more around driving more direct customer experiences.
Okay. So how does artificial intelligence, AI, like feed into this whole process?
Yeah, there's a very simple rule I came up with for where to apply RPA.
Okay.
It's very quick,
Okay.
but it's called the rule of 5. You have 5 decisions or less in a process. You have less than 5 apps that are interacted with. This is the bot interacting with them, and less than 500 clicks. And if you find a process like that, and you can build a bot for it, replace the human effort, if that's in any kind of transaction volume, it'll pay for the bot many times over, right? So that's phase 1 of RPA. But companies are going to run out of the rule of 5 processes. And so what does the bot have to do? The bot has to get more intelligent. So what does that intelligence look like? In one dimension, it's about text analytics, right? It's about Adobe Sensei kinds of technologies where you're going in, OCRing, taking unstructured data, and making that tagged information or structured information that a bot can do something with. In another dimension, the bot, instead of having just these rule of 5 type decision paths, it starts to incorporate a knowledge base based on machine learning and some kind of algorithm. Maybe it's classifying. Maybe it has a way to give advice or handle more exciting exceptions. So it's not just rule of 5. So those are the dimensions that RPA is progressing more intelligently towards text analytics, unstructured content, and towards really nestling up the chatbots.
Okay.
So you have essentially chatbots bossing around other bots.
Got it. So I was going to ask you sort of like what's on the horizon. I think you've sort of touched on that a little bit, and I don't want to steal the thunder from your talk, but what do you see, as the progression? I think the artificial intelligence is part of it, but anything else you want to add to that?
Well, the progression is to have a digital workforce.
Okay.
As scary as that sounds, you will have these automation centers that will have a repository of automations, call them digital workers, and you'll have some pretty advanced analytics that'll be dispatching them to do various work that needs to be done. And ultimately, there'll be a combined set of metadata that absorbs the entire data about the entire process into one machine learning environment that will understand the connections and be able to absorb data in real time about what's going on in the process, much like Netflix absorbs your watching behavior, right? And it's adjusting its algorithms.
Yeah.
So you'll have this machine learning competence and knowledge of the process, which will then dispatch an appropriate automation to get work done. So that's ultimately how processes will work. And that might be out there a few years.
Yeah.
But that's the direction.
So do you think we'll finally ever see the paperless office?
The paperless office, we analysts have been talking about that for probably 25 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to punt on that one because I've been wrong so many times in the past.
Well,
and I'll tell you, I love to print something out and read it at the end of the day. Before I send something for someone to review, I like to look at it on paper.
You like to touch the paper.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I've always said is, I can't, with our business, we're not at the paperless office, but maybe I can help you have less paper in your office. Maybe that might be our first baby step goal towards this.
The paper that we need to get rid of is more around direct marketing. If you look at the 3 areas of paper, I don't want to go off track here, but I was just, with the Post Nord, the Denmark post office. The average Denmark citizen receives 5 pieces of mail a year.
Wow.
A year. So all of their transactional mail is now e-delivery. They've made a huge government portal that all the direct mail has to go to. So there's no direct mail or junk mail anymore. And so you have just very important pieces of mail going out to the Danish citizen.
Unlike the 5 pieces you might get every day, right?
We get 30 pieces of mail a day. Now, the page dynamics in the office are the least likely to decline in the near term. Yeah, so there's still a lot of printing going on in the office, but that's not the only spot that the page dynamics are stable. In other areas, they're declining pretty rapidly.
Well, and I think RPA helps with that, right? Especially with the forms, with those kind of things that people felt they needed paper to get to it, it can be digitized.
It's just when you work with a top investment company and they're managing trillions of dollars, and they ask you to go to a 1990s process to fill out a form, to print out the form, to fill it in, maybe auto-populate a crude form on, and have to print it out for signing. That is just a terrible message to send to a customer. So a lot of customer experience, you might have a great-looking website and the latest social media, but if you operationally go back to that 1990s process, it's not the right message at all. And there are many, many companies that are still there. So we still have a long way to go.
Totally agree. Any final comments?
Well, no, but I heard there's a good oyster house around.
Okay, great. Thanks. It's been a pleasure spending some time with you this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.